The Dominion stretched endlessly, a web of controlled systems, fortified stations, and fleets that had never known defeat. Every species that had entered its borders had been crushed, assimilated, or vanished without a trace. And yet, a single human warship moved through the outer rim, engines humming with quiet determination, hull battered but resilient, as if it had been forged not for victory, but for survival through impossibility itself. The Dominion scanners lit up the void, registering anomalies, systems behaving in ways no database could explain, yet still, the humans advanced, calm, deliberate, unafraid. Inside the ship, the crew worked in seamless synchrony. Every sensor, every panel, every flicker of light became part of a living network of calculation. Engineers monitored energy flows that pulsed with subtle irregularity, optimizing shields against attacks that hadn't even been launched. Navigators traced the gravitational whispers of unseen celestial bodies, bending trajectories imperceptibly to glide past hazards. The captain observed patterns invisible to others, weighing possibilities, dismissing risks, and choosing the path that even probability feared to predict. As the humans crossed the Dominion's outer perimeter, a fleet of alien dreadnoughts loomed ahead, a constellation of predatory metal and energy, each vessel designed to annihilate any transgressor. Sensors flared, weapons charged, and 1,000 alien eyes focused on the lone human ship. And yet, nothing in their protocols, nothing in their centuries of dominance, prepared them for what came next. The humans did not retreat, did not falter. Their shields pulsed with subtle deflections, engines phased to avoid destructive trajectories, and systems responded to threats before they fully manifested. The fleet's first volleys dissipated harmlessly, redirected by calculations that combined intuition, ingenuity, and audacity. Moments passed in tense silence, punctuated by the faint hum of human machinery and the crackling of energy in the void. Alien commanders struggled to understand. Every countermeasure they deployed was anticipated and neutralized, every tactic they considered rendered irrelevant by humans who did not simply react. They reasoned, adapted, and reshaped the battlefield itself. The Dominion had expected fear, submission, or retreat. Instead, it witnessed mastery. The humans advanced further, threading through enemy formations, their presence alone destabilizing the carefully orchestrated supremacy of the Dominion fleets. Sensors detected impossible energy harmonics, patterns that defied conventional physics, and movements that seemed to anticipate intention itself. Systems long considered unbreachable were subtly exploited, not with brute force, but with elegance, precision, and a patience born from centuries of defying the impossible. Alien fleets faltered, confusion spreading like a contagion through their command networks, and then came the silent coup. A single sequence of maneuvers, minor adjustments in gravitic fields, energy pulses sent in perfect resonance, and suddenly the human warship had turned the Dominion's own formations into a trap for themselves. Dreadnoughts collided, weapons overloaded, and entire squadrons drifted helplessly as if reality itself had been rewritten. Across the galaxy, observers would later call it audacity. Across centuries, historians would call it inevitability. Humans had not merely survived, they had orchestrated victory without raising a weapon beyond their own shields and calculated precision. When the last of the Dominion fleets faltered, the human ship continued forward, its crew silent, focused, leaving a wake of transformed systems and shaken empires. There was no celebration, no proclamation of conquest. The galaxy could only record the event, a quiet testament to what humanity represented. Intelligence unshaken by fear, courage unmeasured by firepower, and a will so precise that even impossibility could be negotiated, reasoned with, and overcome. And as the warship vanished into the uncharted depths of Dominion space, one truth reverberated across the stars, and so, the stars learned to fear the sound of a human heartbeat. As the human warship pushed deeper into Dominion space, the emptiness of the void became a canvas for ingenuity. Entire systems shimmered with energy fluctuations, remnants of ancient superweapons and collapsed civilizations, places that had swallowed fleets whole without mercy. Where others saw danger, the humans saw information, patterns, and opportunity. Sensors traced distortions in spacetime, engineers tuned shields to resonate with subtle gravitic pulses, and the captain calculated trajectories that even the most sophisticated Dominion algorithms could not anticipate. Alien fleets shadowed them at a distance, desperate to understand, to anticipate, to stop a species that seemed to bend reality to its will. Every probe fired, every calculation run, failed. Humans did not merely evade, they harmonized with their environment. Magnetic storms became highways, gravitational eddies became shields, and the unpredictable energy of collapsing stars became tools for navigation rather than death. The warship glided through chaos like a creature born of the void, its presence both calm and terrifying. The first true Dominion ambush awaited in a system where gravity wells twisted unpredictably and residual weapon arrays from long-extinct civilizations hummed with deadly energy. Entire fleets had been lost attempting this passage, yet humans approached with measured calm. Every crew member anticipated the next anomaly, adjusted harmonics, and synchronized shields to the microsecond. The first volleys of residual energy were absorbed and redirected, the chaotic gravity waves neutralized, and the ambush became irrelevant before the Dominion even realized it had been engaged. From distant observation points, alien commanders began to whisper doubts. A species so small, so few in number, moving without hesitation through regions considered impassable, it was unprecedented. Calculations failed, predictive models collapsed, and fear, something the Dominion had rarely acknowledged in itself, spread quietly through command chains. Humans, in their silent focus, reshaped the battlefield not with firepower, but with intelligence, ingenuity, and a refusal to accept limitation. Emerging from the system intact, the warship left a subtle transformation in its wake. Energy fields stabilized, residual weapon systems neutralized, and gravitational anomalies harmonized just enough to allow safe passage for future travelers. The humans did not mark their victory with noise or fanfare, their triumph was in survival, precision, and understanding. Across the galaxy, the first seeds of awe began to take root. Humanity had entered Dominion space not as conquerors or invaders, but as a force that altered reality itself with quiet, relentless ingenuity. The alien fleets tracking them withdrew cautiously, each commander grappling with a simple, terrifying truth: humans did not play by the same rules. They created their own. The human warship continued onward, deeper into the Dominion, where the very fabric of space seemed to resist intruders. Nebulae writhed with unstable energy, stars threatened sudden supernovae, and pockets of antimatter drifted like invisible predators. Fleets that had entered these regions before had vanished without a trace, swallowed by unpredictability and hubris. Yet the humans moved steadily, analyzing, adjusting, and flowing through the dangers with the quiet confidence of a species that had learned to see patterns where others saw only chaos. Inside the ship, every system was alive with purpose. Sensors detected infinitesimal fluctuations in gravitational fields, engineers tuned harmonic shields to respond in real time, and navigators recalculated trajectories in fractions of a second. The captain observed it all, not with panic or haste, but with the calm certainty that comes from understanding the universe as a complex, navigable equation. Outside, alien observers blinked in disbelief. The warship did not merely survive the cosmic hazards, it reshaped them. Waves of plasma redirected harmlessly, energy storms guided into predictable paths, and chaotic gravitational eddies folded around the vessel as though obeying some unseen command. Then came the Dominion's next challenge, a fleet of sentient AI warships, designed to anticipate every conceivable maneuver and counter it instantly. Other species had been annihilated in seconds, their fleets torn apart before they could react. Humans, however, approached with strategic patience. Energy pulses from the warship subtly altered the AI's predictive calculations, gravitational microadjustments shifted their targeting, and shields resonated with harmonic frequencies that introduced uncertainty into the enemy's algorithms. In moments, the AI fleet's advantage dissolved. Projected attacks misfired, formations collided, and the supposedly invincible fleet became a chaotic dance of errors. The galaxy watched silently as humans turned a hopeless engagement into triumph. They did not celebrate, did not fire salvo after salvo, they simply applied intelligence, precision, and adaptability in ways no other species could fathom. Systems that had been designed to trap and destroy now guided the humans safely through. Every move was a statement. Victory need not be loud, it need not be destructive, it could be inevitable. Emerging from the engagement, the warship left behind fleets shaken to their core, systems stabilized that had been on the brink of collapse, and a ripple of disbelief across the Dominion's ranks. Across the void, alien commanders began to murmur fears that had never existed before. Humans did not fight like anyone else. They reasoned with space itself, bent reality to understanding, and faced impossible odds with a calm that was as infuriating as it was terrifying. And as the humans continued into the heart of Dominion territory, the universe itself seemed to pause, recognizing a new law. Where humans walked, chaos became opportunity, and impossibility was nothing more than a challenge waiting to be solved. The deeper the human warship penetrated Dominion space, the more the universe itself seemed to challenge them. Entire star systems had been abandoned for centuries, their planets dead, their suns unstable, their space fields riddled with remnants of ancient weaponry and collapsing gravitational anomalies. Any other species would have faltered. Any other captain would have hesitated. Humans, however, saw patterns where others saw peril, opportunities where others saw death. Every fluctuation in energy, every anomaly in gravity, every whisper of radiation became information, raw material to be understood, analyzed, and used. Alien observation fleets, hidden at the peripheries of the systems, tried to anticipate human strategy, scanning, probing, and calculating. Yet every prediction failed. The humans did not simply evade threats, they transformed them into pathways. Rogue plasma streams were redirected, deadly meteor fields phased around the hull, and unstable neutron currents were synchronized with the ship's engines, creating corridors of safe passage through chaos that had previously claimed entire fleets. It was not luck, it was precision, patience, and intelligence distilled into motion. Then came the first true test, an ancient energy construct, older than the Dominion itself, a conscious web of sentient power, pulsing with destructive intent across light years. Fleets had approached it before, only to be obliterated within moments. Humans paused, but not in fear. They studied it, measured its resonances, probed its energy flows. Subtle harmonics were introduced, gravitational micro-adjustments made, energy pulses sent in perfect resonance with its own rhythm. Slowly, imperceptibly, the construct's aggression softened. Its chaos calmed by the humans' interventions. Where others had been destroyed, humans achieved understanding. Across the galaxy, alien empires began to murmur disbelief. No species had approached the impossible with such audacity, such calm, such precision. Humans did not merely survive, they remade the battlefield, altered the fabric of hostile systems, and bent even sentient cosmic anomalies toward stability. Their power was not in fleets, not in numbers, not in weapons. It was in calculation, adaptation, and the quiet certainty that intelligence, applied with courage, could rewrite outcomes. Emerging from the system, the warship left in its wake transformed starfields, stabilized planets, and a ripple of awe and terror. Alien observers, struggling to comprehend, began to recognize a fundamental truth. Humans did not fight the universe, they conversed with it, reasoned with it, and in doing so, became unstoppable. The ship continued onward, engines humming softly, crew silent yet alert, leaving behind a galaxy forced to reconsider the nature of power, courage, and inevitability. The stars, once indifferent, now seemed to pulse with cautious recognition. Humanity had arrived, and the rules had changed. As the human warship ventured farther into Dominion territory, the very void seemed to conspire against it. Spatial rifts twisted unpredictably, energy storms tore across light years. And relics of extinct civilizations, vast automated defense networks, activated to challenge any who dared pass. Other species had fled or perished, their screams recorded only in drifting debris and fractured sensors. Humans, however, advanced with a quiet precision, reading every pulse, every fluctuation, every imperfection as if the universe itself were a code meant to be decrypted. Within the bridge, crew members moved as extensions of the ship, minds and hands perfectly synchronized. Engineers fine-tuned shield harmonics to counter sudden energy bursts, navigators traced microeddies of warped gravity, and the captain orchestrated maneuvers with a subtle authority born from experience and intuition. The warship did not merely move through the dangers, it anticipated them, bending physics to its advantage, redefining what was possible in real time. Alien fleets, observing from the edges of the system, could do nothing but marvel and fear. Their predictions failed repeatedly, algorithms collapsing against human ingenuity, their fleets' formations unraveling like fragile threads. Then appeared the Dominion's deadliest guardian, a sentient war construct, ancient and vast, whose consciousness had been integrated with a dying star. Its energy pulses radiated devastation across the system, annihilating anything that drew near. Entire fleets had been obliterated attempting to confront it. The humans did not attack. Instead, they engaged with calculation and respect. Subtle energy pulses, synchronized with the construct's own oscillations, resonated with its systems. Micro-adjustments in gravitic fields created harmonic stability, guiding the construct's immense power into controlled patterns. Slowly, imperceptibly, the Sentinel's aggression waned, until it became an ally in space rather than a destroyer. The galaxy's observers whispered in disbelief. Humans had done what no other species could, they had confronted inevitability and transformed it through intellect and patience. Systems thought lost stabilized, energy flows, once chaotic and destructive, now harmonized. Entire fleets of the Dominion were left to reckon with a species that did not merely survive, they commanded, reasoned, and reshaped reality itself. Emerging from the system unscathed, the human warship continued forward, silent, composed, leaving behind a trail of altered starfields and shaken empires. Across the cosmos, the lesson became clear: humans did not fight like others. They did not rely on brute force, overwhelming numbers, or intimidation. Their power was subtle, intelligent, and terrifyingly effective. And as they vanished into the uncharted reaches of Dominion space, one truth echoed across every observation post and every alien mind: humans were not merely participants, they were arbiters of possibility. And no force in the galaxy could fully anticipate their will. Beyond the edge of known Dominion space, the human warship entered regions that defied comprehension. Gravity twisted unpredictably, stars collapsed and reformed in moments, and energy storms shimmered with chaotic brilliance. Entire fleets had vanished attempting this passage, their remains scattered as silent warnings. Humans, however, moved with an unshakable resolve, their ship gliding through impossible hazards with a fluidity that seemed almost alive. Every system aboard, the engines, shields, sensors, and energy grids, worked in perfect harmony, responding to threats before they could manifest, turning danger into calculated advantage. Alien commanders watched in disbelief as predictions failed at every turn. They had encountered many clever species, but none like humans. The warship didn't merely evade attacks or anomalies, it orchestrated them. Plasma storms were redirected, gravitational distortions became corridors of passage, and residual weapon arrays from extinct civilizations were neutralized with precise harmonic manipulation. The universe itself seemed to bend around the humans, acknowledging a force that moved with intelligence rather than impulse. Then came the final test, a vast sentient construct, a relic of a pre-Dominion civilization, with consciousness intertwined across light years of energy and matter. It had destroyed every fleet that approached it, consuming entire systems in moments. Humans did not attack. They studied, calculated, and interacted with subtle energy pulses, adjusting their shields and engines to resonate with the construct's oscillations. Slowly, imperceptibly, it responded. Its destructive patterns stabilized, its aggression softened, and for the first time in eons, it became something other than a threat. The impossible had been negotiated, the inevitable circumvented. Across the galaxy, alien fleets whispered of awe and fear. Humanity had demonstrated a terrifying truth: victory did not require overwhelming firepower, dominance, or fleets. It required intelligence. adaptability, and the courage to confront the impossible with precision and patience. Systems that were doomed became stable, anomalies that defied comprehension became manageable, and the universe itself had witnessed the birth of a force that would forever alter its understanding of power. The human warship continued onward, silent and resolute, leaving in its wake transformed starfields, recalibrated anomalies, and a galaxy forced to reconsider the nature of inevitability. And so, the stars learned to fear the sound of a human heartbeat.